with me here now is Tim, one of our product experts at Esoft, and then he's going to talk about why fire ambient photography is such a scalable approach for your business. Hi
Hey,
Tim, how's it going?
good.
Good,
Good to
good,
see
good.
you.
Can you do a bit of introduction about yourself?
Sure. I'm a project expert here at Esoft. I've been with the company for coming up to 8 years, and my specialist field is in photography. And I've been working with a lot of clients, mainly in the US, on scaling their business.
Awesome. So when it comes to scaling a real estate photography business, what sort of mindset should the owner have?
Sure, good question. I think we're talking about going from a small business to a medium and then eventually a large business. You really want
Right.
to focus on establishing your brand and how you can put your brand into the market that you're trying to sell into.
Yeah.
Um, you're going to want to establish a strong customer service team, a strong sales and marketing team in order to maintain your brand. And
Yes.
then when it comes to the shooting side and then the editing side of the products that you're going to be selling, it's advisable to have a scalable approach to the way that you're going to shoot and
Right.
then eventually to train and scale and bring more people on board.
Yeah. So it actually aligns with what I have observed on a few online communities on Facebook, I say, where business owners tend to discuss a lot about the business side of it, which is sales, marketing, product packaging, but then also on the production side on how to find a suitable shooting approach for their business and then fine tuning the art and craft of a large photographer base. So for the production side of it, what does a scalable shooting approach mean to you? What does that entail?
Okay, well, any shooting approach should be quality driven. It
Yes,
should be flexible so you can use it in different types of challenging situations. It needs to be reliable and
reliable.
then, yes, absolutely scalable.
Yes,
So when we talk about scalability and shooting techniques, something that we keep coming back to, which people talk a lot about, is five bracketed ambient shooting,
okay,
which I think we're going to talk a little bit more about the techniques and why in a little bit. But the reason for adopting this approach is from the business side of things, it's something which is, like I say, it's reliable, and most importantly, it's something which can be very easily trained and is very effective in the field.
yeah,
So if you're looking to scale your business and bring on photographers that are going to be working in markets that are kind of far from your base, then
right,
adopting this kind of workflow is something that you could easily put into some kind of online training package,
yes,
something that you can set a number of different rules around, and you
yes.
can basically get people in the field doing this very fast and very effectively so
Mm,
that you can produce the kind of quality that your market is
that
requiring.
sounds pretty good. So by using the shooting technique, you can just easily train photographers to, say, follow and replicate the shooting model that you want for your business.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. It's something which is easily trainable, it's flexible, and it's very reliable.
So what has changed in the market over the last few years to enable this shooting technique to be more common?
There's a number of different things, really. There's technological factors, and then there's factors with how people are building homes and lighting their homes. For example, if you look at modern homes today, they're built with much bigger windows than they were before to allow more light
Exactly.
in.
Yeah.
If you're looking at the lighting that people are using in their homes, it's much more consistent in terms of color temperature,
Yeah.
so it makes it easier to shoot pictures with accurate colors. And then if you look at the equipment that people are using,
Yes.
then it's still quite easy to find a kind of mid-range budget camera which is going to be great at getting the output that you need in order for us to make the edit. So all of those things combined mean that you don't necessarily have to go down the flash road anymore, because you can feel confident in what you're shooting on auto white balance with your mid-range camera
Yeah.
in homes which are lit much better and probably larger spaces, and are decorated differently as well. So people
Exactly.
are using a lot more kind of simple, modern ways of decorating their homes, which make
Materials and
the
stuff. Yeah.
photographer's life a little bit easier.
With that change in lighting, do you think that HDR photography is becoming more accurate in terms of color representation of the property?
Yes, I think HDR has always had its place in the market in terms of shooting, and people a few years ago were adopting more of a flash workflow, which was the right thing to do at that time. But now, with the number of factors that we discussed, the fact that it's slightly easier to be able to get the images that we need without flash, people are switching back from a flash workflow to an all ambient workflow.
Yeah.
And they can do that confidently now because of the lighting, because of the technology with the cameras, with the better way that we're learning to edit pictures and
Yes.
using different tools in Photoshop and things like that. So there's a lot more powerful tools out there to assist us. But then there's also changes in the market needs, and the market is now trending towards something which is a much more kind of natural looking style
Yes.
than they wanted before. So all those things combined mean that the photographer has a not necessarily easier task, but they can be more effective and maybe quicker on site with what they're doing, and they can focus more on capturing the great angles that they need to in order to sell the property, rather than worrying about whether the lighting conditions are going to be good enough for them to be able to produce the files that they need in order for us to make the good edits. So they're focusing on the things that they need to now, rather than worrying about the things that perhaps caused them problems a few years ago, which meant that they were picking up a flash.
So now a lot of our clients are still shooting the flash workflow, and then no one can, I think, deny the power it has for the color accuracy. So is there any advantages that ambient workflow would bring in terms of gear, equipment, or costs?
If you're shooting with flash, then it's good to do that when you need to bring a certain amount of creativity or style to something which you can't get
Exactly.
with ambient light. And that's fine for some very, very specific areas of the market.
Yeah.
But for the majority who are now looking for something which is very natural and organic and is a true representation of what it's like to stand inside the property, then you can adopt a fully ambient bracketed workflow, and that's fine. And in terms of gear, then yeah, you're not having to invest in flash, you're not having to invest in training people how to use it, which can be easy if it's 2 or 3 people, but if it's 30 or 40 people, then it's slightly harder to control.
Messy. Yeah.
And then, yeah, you're not having to change your camera settings between different modes and things like that if you're just shooting with ambient. So there are some advantages from a investment point of view, and there are some advantages from, like we mentioned, training before, and also time on site. If you're not having to go between ambient and flash, then it will reduce the amount of time that you need to spend inside a property. So instead of shooting, say, 4 or 5 properties during the day, you could add an extra one onto that with the time that you've saved. And if you're multiplying that by the number of photographers that you have, then you soon start to see the benefits of that.
Wow, exactly. And then I think, flash is extra gear, extra cost of your business. But then to scale from like maybe 300, 3 photographers to like 30, then that amount of cost for training and equipment would be very significant.
Yeah,
absolutely. Definitely.
And I think just to talk about the number of photographers that you ideally want to be having in your workforce when you scale from that small business to a medium business, if you're thinking about how to train people to use off-camera flash, which it's not impossible at all. Lots of people do it very, very effectively.
Yeah.
But again, you have to come back to how much you want to invest in that training and what it's actually going to give you at the end of the day.
Exactly.
And if you're talking about training a lot of people, then people will make different decisions about how to use that flash, and there will be different challenges associated with that. And you'll have some people that are very strong at it, and then some people that are not so. So if you're trying to, as with any business, offer a consistent quality product, then if you're introducing variables into that mix, which you can't necessarily have 100% control over, then you run the risk of spending a lot of time and resource fighting fires and managing things just to keep you where you need to be, rather than focusing on things to bring your business to the next level and scaling into the next market.
True. Well, I mean, it's business, right? Employees come and go. So if you train the photographers to be really good at flash and then they leave your business, that's the cost. But then if you have something easy to train, optimal to the quality, isn't it perfect?
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, thank you so much for being here with us. And then I think it was really insightful to talk to you.
It's my pleasure, as
Oh, cool.
always.
Yeah. I hope you like this video. Don't forget to hit the like button. See you next time. Bye for now.